They do this dance and Mark Antony's like, go put your hands on your mother's hips.
I try to teach my kids, but you have to sometimes let them make those mistakes.
All right, guys, the Beckham family drama continues to escalate after firstborn son Brooklyn Beckham blasted his famous parents, David and Victoria, in a long and emotional Instagram message.
Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding, and as a mother, to see my son so happy means so much. What more can you ask for?
Beckham goes on to explain her family's tight-knit dynamic.
Do you know, I think that the kids grow up so quickly, and it's about cherishing every moment, and we're a very close family. It's all about communication and being present as a parent. I love to work. I love what I do in fashion and beauty, but being a parent, being a good mom is my #1 job.
These are the shocking details about Brooklyn Beckham's $4 million wedding that have torn apart one of the world's most famous families. What started as a fairy tale celebration in 2022 has exploded into a public feud that's left the Beckhams estranged, and Brooklyn speaking out against his own parents for the first time in his life. The drama centers around one mortifying moment that happened in front of 500 elite wedding guests. A dance between Brooklyn and his mother Victoria that was so inappropriate it left his new bride Nicola crying and fleeing the reception. Now, nearly 4 years later, the wedding DJ has finally broken his silence about what really happened that night, and his revelations have sent shockwaves through the celebrity world. Let me take you inside the most expensive family meltdown in recent memory, where brand deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars, billionaire in-laws, and wounded egos have created a perfect storm that's destroyed relationships that may never recover.
The Beckhams are completely media savvy, but that is a testament to their brilliance, and that shouldn't be seen as a negative. In America, that'd be seen as a positive. It's only in the UK that's seen as a possible negative. The Beckhams have built a phenomenal global brand.
Part of brand Beckham was her being this very serious, very sort of moody sort of...
I think that a lot of people think of me as a stuck-up miserable cow, probably.
In 2016, Victoria registers the name Brooklyn Beckham as an EU trademark.
If your name is globally famous like the Beckhams, yes, it is normal to, and sensible, I'd say, not just normal, sensible to trademark any way that name can be used. And clearly, if your name is Beckham and you're the children of the Beckham brand, at some point you're going to probably use your name, or may use your name, to advance your own career.
Having the brand name Brooklyn Beckham trademarked safeguards his name and also gives him business opportunities, but it is a very irregular commodification of a person, and it is saying, we see you as a person, but we also see you as a business opportunity.
Brooklyn Joseph Beckham, now 26, married actress Nicola Peltz, daughter of billionaire businessman Nelson Peltz, on April 9, 2022. The 3-day celebration took place at the Peltz family's sprawling Palm Beach estate in Florida, and no expense was spared, with a guest list that included tennis champions Serena and Venus Williams, Spice Girl Mel C, actress Eva Longoria, and celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay. This was meant to be the wedding of the century. The couple had been together since 2019, meeting at a Coachella music festival when Brooklyn was just 20 and Nicola was 24. Their whirlwind romance progressed quickly, with an engagement announced in July 2020 during the pandemic. Brooklyn, the eldest of David and Victoria Beckham's 4 children, seemed to have found his perfect match in the glamorous actress who had appeared in films like Transformers: The Last Night. But beneath the surface of this fairy tale romance, tensions were already brewing. The Peltz family's wealth dwarfed even the Beckhams' impressive fortune. While David and Victoria are worth approximately $673 million, according to the Sunday Times Rich List, Nelson Peltz's net worth stands at around $1.2 billion. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a merger of 2 entertainment dynasties with very different approaches to family, privacy, and control. The wedding itself was a spectacular affair that honored both families' Jewish heritage. A rabbi officiated the ceremony under a traditional huppah as the sun set over the Palm Beach coastline. The celebration was managed by Michelle Rago of Michelle Rago Destinations, whose celebrity clientele includes Jamie Foxx and Matt Damon. Magician David Blaine performed during cocktail hour, and the entire event was captured by professional videographers, whose footage would later become the center of a major controversy. The evening began perfectly. Brooklyn looked dapper in his custom suit, while Nicola stunned in a custom Valentino gown, notably not a Victoria Beckham design, which had already caused some family friction. The couple's first dance was to South African singer Loyiso's rendition of Elvis Presley's Can't Help Falling in Love, a romantic moment that should have been one of the highlights of their special day. But then, Mark Anthony took the stage. The 57-year-old singer, who has been a close family friend of the Beckhams for years and serves as godfather to Brooklyn's younger siblings, Cruz and Harper, was performing as his wedding gift to the couple. As part of his set, Anthony called for a special dance moment, asking Brooklyn to come on stage to dance with the most beautiful woman in the room. Brooklyn assumed this meant another romantic dance with his new wife, Nicola. Instead, Victoria Beckham stepped forward. What happened next has become the stuff of celebrity legend, and not in a good way. According to multiple eyewitness accounts, Victoria, who sources say had been a tad tipsy and having fun, began dancing with her son in a way that left the entire room stunned into silence. DJ Fat Tony, whose real name is Tony Marnock, was providing the music that night and had a front row seat to the drama.
One person who was actually at the wedding is our next guest, DJ Fat Tony. Hello.
Welcome,
Tony. Tony.
Hi, guys.
Tony, we talked a lot about this over the last day or so, and, you know, I personally feel a little uncomfortable doing this item because a family's business is private, even when it's public, it's still private.
Agree, yeah.
And at the heart of this is a mother and father who are estranged from their baby boy. So why did you want to come on and talk about it today?
You know, I've just been away on honeymoon and in Miami, and it literally was overtaken by the whole Beckham saga and Beckham Gate because, you know, yes, I was the DJ at the wedding. It wasn't a one-day wedding; it was a 3-day wedding. I did the welcome party, then I did the wedding, and then I did a brunch on the Sunday, which was the most awkward part of it all because everything that had gone on the actual wedding night was discussed amongst all the guests the next morning. But the reason I'm on here is because literally you can't comment, you can't, and I've been inundated. Last night, I've had about 250 messages, 1,000, not 50. I wish it was 250 messages on Instagram alone of people going, spill the tea, spill the tea, spill the tea. You know, that's why I'm here is to talk about the word inappropriate. What we deem inappropriate, right? You're talking to probably one of the most inappropriate people in the world. If you've ever followed me on Instagram, you'll understand that. But
this is the thing, because everyone has got their own ideas and everyone's got an opinion, haven't they?
Yeah.
And you've seen the memes. The fact that Victoria's now become a meme is actually probably quite distressing because, like, no one really knows exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No one actually knows. But you was actually there. Yeah. I mean, was she dirty whining on the dance floor? What was she doing?
There was no... I'm not allowed to say slut dropping, but I'm going to say it. There was no slut dropping. There was no black cat PVC cat suits. There was no Spice Girl action. What it was the word inappropriate. Why I said it was inappropriate as well was because at the time it was the timing. So what happened was, this is what happened, guys. Right. So basically, Mark Anthony was performing on stage. He then called Brooklyn onto stage. Brooklyn went onto the stage where the next minute everyone was expecting it to be Nicola to go up and do the first dance. And then Mark Anthony asks the most beautifulest woman in the room to come to the stage. And then he says, Victoria, come to the stage. So Victoria's by the stage, she goes onto the stage. And of course, at that point, Brooklyn's like suddenly literally devastated because he thought he was going to do his first dance with his wife. Then Nicola leaves the room crying her eyes out. Brooklyn's stuck there on stage, and then they do this dance, and Mark Anthony's like, go, put your hands on your mother's hips. And it was a Latin, you know, it's a Latin thing. And the whole situation was really awkward for everyone in the room. And you know, I've done an awful lot of Beckham parties in the past, and they're a very dancey, close-knit family. They love to dance, right? So, you know, what we deem as inappropriate is not how Brooklyn feels. Yes, this is all about how Brooklyn feels. If he felt it was inappropriate and awkward, then it was inappropriate.
It seems like it happened in the spur of the moment.
It really was.
Let's start with David and Victoria Beckham. They are reportedly in crisis mode. Amid speculation, their eldest son, Brooklyn, is preparing to publish a tell-all biography exposing his allegedly greedy and self-obsessed parents. Beckham biographer Tom Bauer has written in the Daily Mail, Brooklyn might be a spoiled brat, but when it comes to sympathy, the 26-year-old wins hands down. If there were ever a victim of rapacious parents and a dysfunctional family, it's the Beckham's eldest son. Wow, Kinsey, this sounds appalling, and yet I can't look away.
And Tom Bauer always has his hands exactly where we want it, whether it's Harry and Meghan drama or the Beckhams. Tom Bauer is the guy. I don't doubt that growing up in the Beckham household came with pressure, but I have a hard time extending real sympathy to someone who has been handed every possible advantage. Brooklyn has had to work for very little, married into a billionaire family, and will never face genuine financial insecurity. At some point, we need to reserve our empathy for real world struggles, not extremely privileged adults who resent the very lives their parents built for them. I think David and Victoria understand the business, the stakes, and the long game. Brooklyn, frankly, is still figuring out who he is, and let's hope it's not a chef, okay?
Yeah. Or a photographer, because that photography book, that ain't a work of genius. But I have heard other commentators, people who are normally trusted.
At that point, Brooklyn is suddenly, literally, devastated because he thought he was going to do his first dance with his wife, Fat Tony revealed in a bombshell interview with ITV's This Morning in January 2026. Then, Nicola leaves the room, crying her eyes out. Brooklyn's stuck there on stage, and they do this dance, and Mark Anthony was like, "Put your hands on your mother's hips." The whole situation was really awkward for everyone in the room. Fat Tony, a legendary figure on London's social scene, who has DJ'd for Madonna, Prince, and Michael Jackson, emphasized that while Victoria's dancing wasn't explicitly sexual, the timing and context made it deeply inappropriate. There was no slut dropping, there was no black PVC catsuit, there was no Spice Girl action, he clarified. But he confirmed that the dance involved Victoria putting Brooklyn's hands on her hips and wrapping her arms around him in a way that made everyone uncomfortable. You could hear a pin drop, one wedding guest told People magazine. It was such a jaw-dropping moment that it left the whole room in absolute shock. The immediate aftermath was devastating. Nicola, humiliated and upset, had fled the reception in tears. Brooklyn was left standing on stage, trapped in an awkward situation orchestrated by his mother and family friend. The 500 elite guests, many of whom had traveled internationally for this celebration, sat in stunned silence as one of the most anticipated celebrity weddings of the year imploded in real time. But the real drama was just beginning. Fat Tony revealed that the next morning's brunch was the most awkward part of it all, because everything that had gone on the actual wedding night was discussed amongst all the guests. Imagine sitting down for what should have been a celebratory farewell meal, only to have everyone whispering about the bride crying and the groom's humiliation from the night before. The incident created ripple effects that would ultimately destroy the Beckham family's relationship with Brooklyn and Nicola. In the months following the wedding, signs of tension became increasingly obvious. Brooklyn began missing major Beckham family events. He was notably absent from the London premiere of Victoria's Netflix documentary in October 2024, skipped Victoria's 50th birthday party in April 2024, and even missed David's milestone 50th birthday celebration in May 2025. The couple's growing distance from the Beckham clan became even more apparent when they held a vow renewal ceremony in August 2025 at the Peltz family estate in Westchester County, New York. Not a single member of the Beckham family was present for this second celebration, which was officiated by Nelson Peltz himself.
Nicola and Brooklyn Peltz Beckham, bride and groom once again.
My gorgeous wife, she looks amazing tonight.
Brooklyn's truly like my best friend and also like the love of my life, so it's been nice.
So nice, they did it twice. Brooklyn and Nicola renewing their vows 3 years into wedded bliss.
She's the best and she's doing her thing and I'm so happy.
The intimate affair taking place at the Peltz family estate in New York. Nicola serving bridal elegance in wedding white, Brooklyn keeping it classic in a black tuxedo. The actress's family was all there to celebrate. And get this, Nicola's dad, billionaire investor Nelson Peltz, officiated the ceremony.
I have 7 siblings. So I think he loves being with my family and just being around so many boys. I think he has like built-in boy best friends now.
But what about Brooklyn's family? Well, David, Victoria, Romeo, Cruz, and Harper seemingly did not attend. Instead, enjoying a European vacay amid continuing rumors of a family rift.
For nearly 4 years, the family maintained a public facade of unity while privately dealing with this growing rift. But on January 19th, 2026, Brooklyn finally broke his silence with a devastating 6-page Instagram statement that laid bare the full extent of the family's dysfunction. In front of our 500 wedding guests, Mark Anthony called me to the stage, where in the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife. But instead, my mom was waiting to dance with me instead, Brooklyn wrote. She danced very inappropriately on me, in front of everyone. I've never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my entire life. But the wedding dance was just the tip of the iceberg. Brooklyn's statement revealed a much deeper pattern of control and manipulation that he claimed had characterized his relationship with his parents. He alleged that in the weeks before his wedding, David and Victoria had repeatedly pressured and attempted to bribe him into signing away the rights to his name, which would have affected his wife and future children. According to Brooklyn, his parents were adamant on me signing before my wedding date because then the terms of the deal would be initiated. My holdout affected the payday, and they have never treated me the same since, he wrote, suggesting that his refusal to sign these documents had been the real source of his parents' resentment toward both him and Nicola. The statement also revealed the extent to which Brooklyn felt his wife had been ostracized by his family. He claimed that the night before their wedding, he was told that Nicola was not family. He described a family culture where Brand Beckham comes first, and family love is decided by how much you post on social media.
These accusations that Brooklyn has now put out publicly, they're so specific about the wedding dress being hijacked last minute, about his mother supposedly jumping in on his first dance and acting inappropriately. The fact that it is so specific, from a PR perspective, does that make it harder to defend against, that it isn't something vague and general?
Well, it's certainly difficult when it is a family drama as opposed to 2 different parties. You know, it's certainly within the family. But proper damage control right now does not look like an Instagram statement. It's about containment. It is likely legal. It is NDAs. It's looking at contracts line by line. It is not going to be about dismantling the narrative that Brooklyn is putting out there. Victoria and David Beckham right now need to contain the brand, keep their collaborations safe and let everybody know that everything is fine, and be a little quiet at the moment. There should be a statement, but it shouldn't match their sons.
All right, guys, the Beckham family drama continues to escalate after firstborn son Brooklyn Beckham blasted his famous parents, David and Victoria, in a long and emotional Instagram message. Now, David is hitting back on those allegations. Watch.
They make mistakes. Children are allowed to make mistakes. That's how they learn. So that's what I try to teach my kids. But you have to sometimes let them make those mistakes.
I don't know why I'm always shocked by that British accent. Okay, Caroline, you're obsessed with this. Tell us more.
Okay, so I don't like to see big families fracturing, especially famous ones. Although I'm a firm believer that when you marry your spouse, they become your family. The extended family comes second.
Or how quickly you drop everything to show up and pose for a family photo op. DJ, Fat Tony's confirmation of Brooklyn's account added crucial credibility to these explosive allegations. As an outside observer with no stake in the family drama, Fat Tony's testimony carried particular weight. His partner, Stavros Agapiou, who was also present at the wedding, initially supported the account on social media before deleting his comments, writing, "I was there and she did. He's telling the truth, and good on him for finally speaking out." The Beckham camp has pushed back against these characterizations, with sources close to David and Victoria telling the Daily Mail they are baffled by the accusations. They insist that guests were having so much fun and that Victoria was simply a tad tipsy and having fun. Some sources have even suggested that it was Nicola who didn't want him to dance with his mom at all, so kicked off about it. But there are significant discrepancies in the various accounts of what happened that night. While Brooklyn claims the inappropriate dance replaced his planned romantic dance with Nicola, other reports, including coverage by British Vogue, suggest that the first dance between Brooklyn and Nicola had already taken place earlier in the evening, and that Mark Anthony didn't appear until 11 p.m. These conflicting timelines raise questions about exactly what happened and when, but they don't diminish the core fact that multiple witnesses describe the dance as deeply uncomfortable and inappropriate for the setting. The financial stakes in this family drama are enormous. The Beckham brand, built over decades of careful image management, is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. David's stake in Inter Miami Football Club alone is valued at $1.2 billion, following high-profile signings like Lionel Messi. Victoria's fashion empire and the family's various endorsement deals with brands like Adidas and Calvin Klein depend on maintaining their image as the perfect celebrity family. Brooklyn's public statements threaten all of that. His allegations of family dysfunction, control, and manipulation paint a very different picture from the carefully curated social media presence the Beckhams have maintained. The timing is particularly damaging, as rumors swirl about a potential documentary deal with streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, or Amazon Prime that could be worth up to $50 million. The wedding video footage itself has become a valuable commodity. According to reports, the video was captured, but the couple has no plans to ever release the wedding footage. Sources explain that Brooklyn was mortified and never wants the moment made public. The videography company uploaded all footage directly to a computer accessible only to Brooklyn and Nicola, with all other copies supposedly wiped. However, with streaming services reportedly interested in acquiring hours of unseen footage for their documentary projects, this wedding video could be worth millions. What makes this situation particularly tragic is how it's affected not just Brooklyn and his parents, but the entire extended family. DJ Fat Tony put it best when he said, "I think what we're all missing here is the fact that parents have lost their child, and a son's lost his parents and the rest of his family." Brooklyn's younger siblings, Romeo, 23, Cruz, 20, and Harper, 14, have been caught in the middle of this feud. The family that once presented such a united front is now fractured, possibly beyond repair. Brooklyn spent Christmas 2025 with the Peltz family rather than his own parents and siblings, a symbolic gesture that speaks volumes about where his loyalties now lie.
And in his case, this is just tainting the business brand, the Beckham family, and he's allowed to do that. However, I will say, Brooklyn Beckham has benefited from a huge amount of nepotism, which I know is an ugly word, but he would be nothing if not for his famous footballer dad and his Posh Spice Girl mom. He wouldn't have his amateur cooking channel. He wouldn't have his modeling career. So I think a little bit more gratitude is due. There's been so many scandals of celebrity families where the parents are negligent or they're abusive to their children. That is not what's happening here. An overbearing, devouring mother, that's a common trope. Everyone has that experience, I think, with the mother-in-law. But to be a little bit over-invested in your children is not a crime. There's a difference between a helicopter parent and an abusive one.
A lot to unpack.
Okay, I'm done. That was everything right there.
This is devil's advocate. I mean, he would still have his looks, so maybe the modeling career could come. But here's the thing. Do you agree with Caroline? Is this the Yoko Ono of the Beckham family, or is it Brooklyn?
I think Brooklyn and Nicola are both complete spoiled brats. To turn on your parents publicly is a reflection of you and your character. And if I were Nicola, I'd be embarrassed by my husband, who's acting like a little boy, a child, putting out this ridiculous statement. Also, by the way, one of the issues that he cites is that somehow Victoria Beckham pulled the rug out from underneath Nicola with a wedding dress at the 11th hour. But in Vogue, she talks about working with Valentino for an entire year on a custom gown that she wore down the aisle, including 2 trips to headquarters in Rome. So I think this is a bunch of baloney.
This public image that's very masterful, they're very likable, relatable, but it's not authentic. What do you say to that? I mean, I remember the whole Rebecca Lewis thing, the fact that David was sleeping with the nanny and Victoria just looked the other way and it wasn't an isolated incident. And then it makes you question the whole persona, the whole image they put out, whether there's anything real about it.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Bauer wrote a really great book about your point right there, about how so much of it is theater, so much of it is highly choreographed, and how hateful they could be towards each other in this pursuit for fame, celebrity, and money. but I'm obsessed with it. I can't not love them. I don't know. There's something that the ambition in them, I admire it. I admire the never complain, never explain. They continue to show up. I admire the commitment, Rita.
The broader implications of this story extend beyond just celebrity gossip. It raises uncomfortable questions about the pressure faced by children of celebrities, the commodification of family relationships, and the price of fame. Brooklyn's allegations suggest a family dynamic where business interests and brand management took precedence over genuine emotional connections. Even other figures from the Beckhams' past have weighed in on the drama. Rebecca Luce, who was previously linked to David Beckham in a scandal years ago, commented that she was happy he is standing up for himself and speaking publicly, and added, "I have felt so bad for his poor wife, knowing too well what they can be like." As this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear. What happened at Brooklyn Beckham's wedding was more than just an awkward family moment. It was the catalyst for the complete breakdown of one of the entertainment world's most famous families. The dance that lasted just a few minutes has created consequences that may last a lifetime. The question now is whether this fractured family can ever find a way back to each other, or if the damage done that night in Palm Beach is simply too great to overcome. With millions of dollars, family legacies, and personal relationships all hanging in the balance, this celebrity family drama is far from over. If you want more news about celebs, where I spill the tea about them and all their gossip, then please consider to like and subscribe for more content like this.